Hello there, guys. Again, this is Alex here, bringing you part 5 of What If Deku Was the Reincarnation of Link. So, before where we last left off, after the little demonstration of skill that the Hero Shade displayed, as well as telling Izuku that he was still green, Izuku would be amazed and he would ask, "Why Hero Shade? Is it your name or is it your title?" Hero Shade saying, "You see, kid, I used to be a hero, but my acts of heroism were erased by time. There's no proof whatsoever of me being a hero, and making me a shadow that could have been, not remembered by those I saved. So I hunt this land as a Stalfos, to pass on my teachings and to ease my regrets. But enough about me. I came here to you as a greeting. Grab your sword and shield and find me. I'll be waiting under the sacred tree." Izuku saying, "Wait, I have more questions." As the Hero Shade would say, they would have to wait until we meet again, Izuku. And before Izuku could say anything else, Hero Shade vanished along with the landscape. Then he woke up, confused. Izuku saying, "Katsumi, what happened? Where am I?" Katsumi saying, "You idiot, you're in Recovery's girl's office at UA. I'm the one who's supposed to ask you what happened. You drew your sword and fell unconscious to the ground. You scared me half to death." Izuku saying, "Sorry, Kanchan, but I got to meet a spirit calling himself Hero Shade, and it seems that he knows a lot about..." As Izuku looking at the Triforce on his hand, Katsumi saying, "That destiny thing that you, Griselda, and that old hag seem to talk about all the time?" Izuku saying, "Yeah, he told me that I'm not ready, and in my state, I disgrace those that came before me." As Izuku would be lowering his head in shame. Katsumi saying, "Big deal. Anyways, we got more important matters." Izuku saying, "Which is..." Katsumi saying, "Who the hell was that round chick bitch that seemed to be too clingy?" Izuku saying, "Oh, you mean Ochako?" Katsumi saying, "Yeah, her." Izuku saying, "I met her when I lived with my grandfather. Her family owns a little construction business. From time to time, she would come over with her parents whenever me and Gramps thrashed the dojo." Katsumi saying, "What the you gotta be kidding me." As a female voice would say, "Language, young lady. You're in the nurse's office, not at a war zone, so keep it down, would you?" Katsumi and Izuku were surprised to see Recovery Girl accompanied by Principal Nezu, in a pro with long black hair and bags under his eyes, prove that he lacked some sleep. Nezu saying, "I see you're awake. I must say that you did quite well in the exam, but UA doesn't allow liars nor cheaters." Izuku saying, What did I do?" Nezu saying, "Well, to start off, we know about the incident involving the death of your parents, as well as many other casualties, and reports of a certain boy orphaned at age 7. Does that sound familiar? So, how could you have made these? Care to explain?" Izuku lowering his head in shame. "Fine, I admit it. I did lie about making the claw shots. They were given to me." Aizawa saying, Quite curious and intrigued. I have to admit, those things are quite useful. Mind if I take a look at them?" Izuku saying, "Sure, go on." Aizawa gets one of the claw shots. While he asks about them, he tries to fire it to see what it can do. But as it fires, Aizawa is wincing in pain, and the claw shot is stuck to the ceiling. Recovery Girl saying, "Oh my, it pulled your arm out of your socket and fractured your wrist." Nezu, very intrigued. With the single-use Mr. Aizawa's like this, you used it multiple times during the entrance exam, but nothing. How's it so?" Izuku shrugs his shoulder, not knowing the answer. Nezu saying, "Well, anyhow, whenever you got these from, they are pretty useful, not to mention dangerous to people other than yourself, and the fact that you cheated still remains." Izuku saying, I guess I'll have to find a different high school then." Nezu saying, "Oh, heavens no. There's no need for that. Let's say you wouldn't have to take another practical test, but considering you're swordsman, you can bring your arsenal for this." Izuku and Katsumi were confused. Izuku saying, when will this be? Nezu saying, 1 week. In 1 week, he would officially start UA, but this test would be after classes, and you will be watched by your classmates. Win or lose is up to you, so what do you say? Izuku saying, I accept. As Nezu would say, good, I'm looking forward to this test. Well then, have a good rest of the day. Nezu said, leaving with Mr. Aizawa. After, when Recovery Girl gave Izuku a thumbs up for him to leave, they did so. And on their way home, Izuku explains to Katsumi what happened with this hero shade once Izuku arrived home. After explaining everything to Katsumi and hours of convincing her to leave because he was mentally exhausted, he went to rest up. He'd ask Phi if she knew anything about the sacred tree. Phi saying, Master, the only tree to be known as the sacred tree is the great Deku tree. Izuku saying, what is that? Where can I find it? Phi, the great Deku tree was an earth spirit and also the guardian of the forest. But unfortunately, he met his doom, and its location is in the Lost Woods. Phi returns into the sword. After the little info, the next day, Izuku decided to go to the Lost Woods, having Skull Kid lead the way to the ruins. Once there, he looked around to see if Hero Shade was there, but he was nowhere to be seen, until he actually got to the stump that was once the Deku tree. He saw the same armor that the Hero Shade had, but in worse conditions than. Then a light came from it, and then a golden wolf appeared. Getting in a battle stance with the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield, the wolf attacked as it did before, and bringing Izuku back to the landscape as his training to learn whatever Hero Shade had in mind for him. During that time, he learned the seven sword skills: ending blow, shield attack, back slice, helm splitter, mortal draw, jump strike, great spin. And once he was done with that, he heads back home, only to find a pissed off Katsumi glaring at him. Katsumi saying, where in the name of hell were you? Izuku saying, I've been training with the Hero Shade. I left this morning and now I'm here. Katsumi saying, this morning? It has been 6 days and tomorrow we start class at UA. Izuku was saying, 6 days? But how? Phi, can you tell me what's going on? Phi appears out of the sword. Master, you've been training in the landscape with Hero Shade. Seemed moments, but in reality, 6 days has passed, and your body was unconscious during that time. In the landscape where you were trained with Hero Shade, time is non-existent, making it somewhat of a dream. It's either too fast or too slow, and it might confuse you on which is which. Then she returns into the sword. Izuku saying, crap, this is also confusing, and starts to mutter. Katsumi saying, calm down, calm the hell down. Good thing you have me as your best friend, right? Izuku looking at her suspiciously. What did you do? Katsumi, me? Nothing really, just organized. Izuku checks everything out in the mail. There was a letter from UA, which was an acceptance letter containing a hologram of All Might with all the details of the exam, mentioning the test on the day he started UA, a package containing the UA uniform. But Katsumi switched her box with his just to see the look on his face. Later that evening, Izuku had dinner at Katsumi's house, which he also got scolded by Mitsuki for not telling anybody where he went, but she laughed after hearing what happened earlier on. Next morning, he prepared a big enough bag to carry both the Master Sword and the Hylian Sword. Got his book bag with everything that he needed. As he opened the door, he saw Katsumi about to get the spare key. Izuku saying, Katsumi, seriously? Katsumi saying, I wanted to surprise you anyways. Let's go or we'll be late. Izuku saying, yeah, I'm coming. They made their way to UA, but they saw a pissed off Shoto talking to a couple. They both had silver hair, but the female had red bangs, somewhat similar to Shoto. Izuku trying to be friendly, he walks up to him and tries to talk to him, but he turns his head and walks away. Once Katsumi caught up, Katsumi would say, the fuck was that? Couldn't he just say hi or something? As the woman would say, don't take it the wrong way. It's because what we told him. Izuku saying, do you know Yaoyorozu-san? As the man would say, yeah, we know him all too well. Katsumi saying, who are you? As the woman would say, oh, sorry, I'm Fuyumi Todoroki, and he's my brother Natsuo. And who might you be? Izuku saying, oh, I'm Izuku Midoriya, and she's my childhood friend, Katsumi Bakugo. Pleasure to meet you. Natsuo saying, sorry, but we need to get going. It was nice meeting you. Izuku and Katsumi just stared at the two leaving the area. Izuku was wondering what they could have said to make Shoto pissed off. As Katsumi would say, just forget about it. It's its own problem, not ours, so let him deal with it. They were looking for Class 1A, getting some directions from the staff, and once they got there, they opened the massive door and entered. Ida walks up to them. Ida saying, oh, it's you. You were the one that got the bonus points. You must be better than I if you found out about the hidden point value. Izuku saying, no, I just... Katsumi saying, of course he is. Now back off, Four Eyes. Ida saying, you're quite the aggressive one. If I recall, during the explanation of the practical exam, I was wrong to interrupt President Mike. I must apologize for disturbing. Katsumi saying, save it. I don't care for the apology. Come on, Izu. Ida saying, I'm Tenya Ida, and I'm... Katsumi saying, don't care. Now out of the way, Four Eyes. Izuku saying, sorry about that. Don't take it as an offense. She's... Katsumi saying, Izu, let's go. Grab a seat. There's no need to explain to Four Eyes anything. If he's smart, he'd go to his seat and stop bugging us. By the little argument, the few students already there labeled Katsumi as a loudmouth and a troublemaker. Before Izuku had the chance to go and grab a seat, a familiar girl grabs Izuku's arms. Ochako saying, hey Izuku, it seems that we aren't in the same class. As Izuku saying, oh, Ochako, could you stop grabbing my arm like that? As Katsumi would start arguing with Ochako and her manners. Well, there was a charming red-haired girl entering. As she would say, oh, you must be the Vo that saved me. I didn't need your help, but thanks, I guess. My name's Riju Orbodani. What's yours, cutie? Izuku introduced himself, but is confused by the word Vo. Riju explains that it means male. Katsumi saying, oh great, another one. Come on, Izu. Dragging him with her to a pair of empty seats. After a while, once all the students are in the class, a man in a sleeping bag made his presence known. Aizawa saying, I'm Shoto Aizawa, your homeroom teacher. Put these PE uniforms and meet me outside. Before anyone asks, do as I say, and that's final. The students went to their respective locker rooms. On the boys' side, Kirishima's looking at Izuku and telling him that he looks so manly. Ida would ask about Katsumi. Izuku would simply explain that she's nice once they get a chance to know her. Shoto would glare at Izuku. Then Izuku would ask him about the two people outside of UA this morning. Shoto would just scoff at him, telling him that it's none of his business, and went outside before anyone else, confusing everybody. Mineta, being the perv he is, he peeps through a hole on the wall that's connected to the two locker rooms. On the girls' side, Suyu points out the obvious, saying, so, Bakugo, what's your relationship with Midoriya? Katsumi saying, none of your business. A fair warning, though, better stay away from him. And it goes 10 times for you, round cheeks and red-haired bitch. And especially you, Griselda. Before anybody could say anything, Jiro notices the hole on the wall, hearing bits and pieces of the conversation on the other side, and noticing Mineta being a creep, using her earphone jacks to make him feel hell. Riju goes to peep through the hole and starts to scout out the boys. Riju, the midget is useless. He has no potential whatsoever, but I never thought that the boys this age could have so much potential, especially that cute one. Izuku, I think his name was? Confusing all the girls, then explaining the details, making them blush a lot. Ryuju saying to Bakugo, if you don't plan on making any moves on Izuku, I'll just take him for myself, giving her a foxy grin. Katsumi saying, why, you little... After that, they all arrived on the field. Aizawa throws a ball to Izuku. As Aizawa would say, you've got the highest score on the practical exam. How far can you throw a ball in middle school? Izuku saying around 85 or 90 meters, give or take. As Aizawa would say, that's pretty good, considering you don't have a quirk and you use those class shots of yours with these. Let's see how far you can throw the ball. Izuku throws the ball, and the ball goes 9,875.7 meters, shocking the whole class. Kirishima would say, "Whoa, he got over 9,000 meters? That's so manly. You sure he's quirkless, sensei?" Everybody else had their turns, and to make it short, Izuku scored 6th place, and Invisible Girl was in 23rd place. And so, last place. Aizawa would say, "Hagakure, considering you're in last place, and this is a class of 23 students, which is an odd number, I would have to say that you are expelled from this class. Well, you'll actually be going to the general studies due to the circumstances. Count yourself lucky. Normally, I would expel students from the school entirely." Hours later, the school day is at its end. The students are in class, while Mr. Aizawa is telling them that although class is about to end, there's one more thing they had to do. Just on cue, Principal Nezu, All Might, and Recovery Girl enter the classroom. Nezu saying, "If you don't mind, Aizawa, I'll take it from here. Now, students, although classes have ended, there's one student that was holding back during the practical portion of the entrance exam. Am I right, Mr. Midoriya?" Izuku saying, "Yeah, I was." As Nezu would say, "In any case, if all of you would join us for the little test of his, I'll be glad if his classmates, were to judge him by pointing out mistakes and analyzing his skills in general." Everybody was oddly excited, but Katsumi was wondering what they had planned for him. Izuku got all geared up, Master Sword on his back sheath, and the Hylian shield on his left hand, and he was waiting in Field Gamma. Meanwhile, the rest of class were in the observatory room, and when Izuku said he was ready, Principal Nezu released a few robots, them being 1, 2, and the 3-pointer robots from the entrance exam. But after they were easily disposed of, Nezu sent in the main course, a small robot with 3 mechanical legs, looking like an insect with glowing eyes, or with a glowing eye. Griselda, recalling that what it was, she looked at her father as she would say, "Dad, are you guys serious?" All Might saying, "Sweetie, it's just a robot." Griselda saying, "No, it's not. It's not just a robot. That can easily kill him if he's not careful." Katsumi would be hearing what Griselda just said. "Are you kidding me? How is that thing dangerous? Have some faith in him. He's not weak. He can do it." And I'm confident that we'd come up without a scratch. Back with Izuku, he got closer to the robot that seemed familiar to him, and when he did, the robot opened up, revealing 3 mechanical arms, holding a plasma weapon on each of its arms. A plasma sword, a plasma axe, and a plasma shield. Izuku attacked the thing. At first, it was a stalemate. Then once he read the thing's movements, he nearly destroyed it, but the robot was charging a beam from its eye, and it had its target locked, following Izuku. A flash of memory runs through Izuku's mind, and once the robot shot its beam, Izuku used the Hylian shield to parry it, and sending it back at the robot, destroying it completely, ending the test. Everybody were amazed on Izuku's skill, except Katsumi, claiming that she already knew. All Might, Nezu, and Mr. Aizawa were very impressed with his demonstration of skill. The class tried to find flaws in his strategy, but no matter what they couldn't find any. Nor could they find any openings for him to attack. And once he was with the rest of the class, they all praised him, in saying that his swordsmanship was swift and graceful, but Shoto just glared at him. Some days passed. The day of the heroes versus villains mock battle arrived. With All Might being supervisor, everyone is formed into teams of 3. 3 matches would be 3 versus 3, while 1 would be 2 versus 2, because they were 22 students. Shoto and Katsumi being the villain team versus Griselda and Izuku being the hero team. The match would end in a swift victory for the hero team. After the timer has started, Griselda and Izuku would walk into the building. Katsumi would go for a frontal assault trying to catch them off guard, but Izuku swiftly knocked her out. Then they headed towards the bomb area, being on the top floor, which Griselda managed to get past Shoto's defense and touch the bomb, and at the end of the match will be given the MVP title of the battle. At lunch, Izuku, Katsumi, Griselda, Paya, Ochako, Ida, Momo, and Shoto were in the cafeteria having lunch, while Katsumi is complaining on why was Griselda teamed up with Izuku, and just simply chatting until an alarm starts going off, creating a pandemonium in the cafeteria. While the students were panicking, where they were overrunning the halls and being somewhat stuck in them. But Ida, being close to the window, he notices that it's just the media. So with the help of Ochako, he managed to get the attention of everyone and calming them down. Back in class, Mr. Aizawa forgot an important thing, which made them a bit scared, but Aizawa, just wanting to put the students on edge, she just says that they need to choose a class representative, which in this case, as per usual, it will be by vote. And Izuku and Griselda were actually chosen to be class representative and vice representative, but Izuku gives away his position as class rep to Ida for his strategy of calming everyone down in the hallways. A few more weeks pass since then. As they continue their routine, Mr. Aizawa announces a trip to a training facility that specializes in rescue training from natural disasters, known as the Unforeseen Simulation Joint, or USJ for short. Everybody hopped on the bus and they left for the USJ. On the bus, they start asking each other about their quirks, and when it came to Izuku's turn, Tsuyu would say, "Hey Midoriya, are you really quirkless?" Izuku saying, "Yeah, of course I am. Why would you ask?" Tsuyu saying, "I mean, at the apprehension test, you threw the ball further than anybody else, except for Ochako. You can't beat infinity. Then there's a lot, also that sword of yours that you carry around, and not to mention your shield as well. Why is that so?" As Izuku would say, "You see, it's an heirloom, and apparently only I can wield this sword," as he'd laugh nervously. As Tsuyu would say, "I see. What about your quirk, Shoto?" As Shoto would say, "Half ice, full strength, that's all. Let me know when we're there." Kirishima saying, "Hey Midoriya, what about those golden bracelets? Where did you get those?" Izuku saying, "They belong to my father." Mina saying, "Midoriya-san, I can't help but notice, but you and Bakugo-chan have matching earrings. Are you two dating?" Katsumi would start blushing. "Shut up, Pinky!" As Ryuji would say, "Does that mean that I can try?" As Katsumi and Griselda simultaneously would say no. Katsumi and Griselda glared at each other. The others could feel the intensity of their glares, but Ochako sneaked to Izuku's side. But before anybody could do anything, Aizawa would say, "Everybody shut up and out of the bus, we're here." They exited the bus and entered the USJ, having the Pro Hero 13 greeting them, explaining the place and about the quirks being used for both good and bad. Fi appears from the sword, shocking everybody, as Fi would say, "Master, I detect a dark presence coming from the center plaza of the facility, known as USJ. Please exercise caution," and Fi would be returning back to the sword. That just left everyone speechless at that point. Before Izuku had the chance to explain, the portal appeared, and a guy with white hair, with hands covering all over him, and a black-haired girl that looks a lot like Griselda, but with a different hairstyle, along with 2 7-feet tall people covered in black armor from head to toe, wielding a sword and a shield, a centaur-looking thing with horns also wielding weapons, a bunch of thugs, and or not known criminals. While everybody was wondering what was going on, Griselda, on the other hand, froze in place, and a single tear fell down her eye, while she whispered, "Hilda." So we're going to leave it off at this part, guys. Sorry for the delays in the scripts. I've been drawing lately. I guess that, yeah, I kind of like drawing, not going to lie. I've been working on some stuff. Don't worry. Ed is gonna give me the script for this one, but most likely by Monday or Tuesday, I guess. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. I hope that you're liking that. I actually changed the mic. I got a mic. I think I mentioned in the yesterday's video, I guess. I don't know when this is gonna come out, but in this case, yeah, I got a new mic. I hope you guys start liking the quality. If you hear too much my voice, I'm sorry. I know my voice is annoying. But in this case, I do hope you guys like the video. So, yeah, we'll still be continuing. I'll still continue the other ones I had in mind. But yeah, have a good day.